Welcome to the Fan Club YouTube channel. Please make sure to subscribe, like this video, and comment down below.
And we are back. Episode 6, Fan Club Playoff Frenzy. You know, the Final Four is officially started. Who's going to be the King of the East, King of the West? I don't mind any of these teams, to be honest. Like, there's always sometimes a year where it's like, I don't want that team to win. But me personally, this is a year where I truly don't mind either one of the four teams to win.
I think BR at Open Ice posted something like all four teams that are left haven't won a Stanley Cup in like 20 years or something.
That's
so,
great.
Yeah, that is great.
That is really
We
good.
like that. We like to see someone new win it for sure. Because sick of seeing the Avs or whatever, the Hawks or the Blues or the Bolts or the it's fun. Yeah, keep the NHL moving around.
If I was picking one team though to not see win, New York for me. They'd be the
really?
fourth.
They'd
They'd be the
They're
fourth spot.
fourth?
It'd be Edmonton, Florida, Dallas, New York.
Okay, I could get on
That's
that.
my that's my ranking
Mine
here.
is definitely Florida, Edmonton, New York, Dallas.
Yeah, I'm going Florida, Edmonton, Dallas, New York.
See, I saw a thing though with Dallas. They have 3 guys on their team that have over 1,000
I know.
NHL games and no cup.
Pavelski, Suter, and Ben.
So you think they're
And-
due? They're due
and,
for one?
Well, I guess maybe 4 then. Duchesne.
Duchesne. Maybe it's not Ben.
No, definitely Ben. He has
Yeah,
no
it's crazy.
visor.
Yeah.
true.
Grandfather
That's a-
rule.
Yeah.
Big tell that he's played over 1,000.
I think what goes into it for me too is how badly I want a player on that team to win it. Not like the team in general, but it's like Edmonton's number one because I want McDavid to win it the most.
Yeah.
And on New York, I can't think of anybody that I really care about wanting to see win it. But Florida, I want to see Kachuk win it. I want to see who else on Florida do I want to see win it?
Swaggy.
Bennett,
Sam Bennett.
Bobrovsky. Paul
Bobrovsky.
Maurice.
I like Bob.
Paul Maurice.
I like Bob a lot, actually. He's
Who-
definitely one of my favorite Russians in the league.
Who would you want to see on New York win? Who's exciting for you to
Wheels.
see hoist it?
Wheeler.
Wheeler.
I guess he'd be the first. He'd be the first Breck Mustang to win a Stanley Cup.
Is he even making it in the lineup? Did he even play?
He's hurt.
Oh, he's injured?
He's hurt, but I guess he said he's back if they need him. But I
Oh.
don't think they need him.
I don't know. I wouldn't mind if Kreider hoisted the cup.
Yeah,
I don't really know who else.
It's kind of tough.
I've never
I don't
really,
really have a favorite Ranger.
yeah, I've never really been a fan of Zibanejad either.
I like.
Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Zibanejad?
Sabina Chad.
Chad. Yeah.
Big Z.
I don't know. It's something about his hair.
Actually, I do have someone on New York that I want to see win it. Rempe. He would be the one guy that I think would be. That would be a heck of a season for him if he ended off
That'd be it. Yeah, you're right.
with the cup.
Wonder what his ice time is in the playoffs. He's not out there.
Is he?
much.
I haven't watched it. I didn't watch last night's game. I was driving on the road down here, so I was just looking at Twitter, but I didn't notice that they're not giving him much ice out there. Or what?
I mean, it doesn't really have a role in playoffs. They don't really fight in playoffs.
Yeah, and he can't be taking those
Can't be
hits
taking
that
penalties
he used to be taking. But
Yeah,
he's played every game.
He's only played 7 games.
Okay.
And the games he has been in, he's probably gotten like, I don't know, 4 or 5 shifts.
Like he didn't play last night.
Yeah.
He didn't play last night. He played. Yeah, he only played 3 games against Carolina too. So
Yeah. I'm sure his ice time isn't
hasn't went
up
over
there.
7 minutes of ice. So not
I mean-
a playoff guy, but someone who will know all the Rangers stuff is
Do I
Mr.
need like
John.
headphones or something or what?
No, you sound good, man.
So everyone's
All good?
around here. We're just on FaceTime. You got a mic right at the bottom of your screen.
Is that how you guys always do it?
Just for this.
Just for this, because it's quick.
Just for the playoff frenzy.
What's up, Mr. Ranger?
Why the fuck you guys chirp me on Twitter?
Is it recording?
Yeah.
I got a bone to pick with whoever's running the Twitter account.
that one was me actually. Because you said the Panthers had 8 guys on the ice.
So I guess they didn't. I mean, I don't see the broadcast, but like literally watching it from the press box, it looked like they had 2 lines out there.
What was that for? Did they score or something?
No, they got a too many men penalty.
Oh.
And I was like, it looked like the Panthers had 8 guys, and you guys quoted and said like, what?
Yeah, that was one of our goals for playoffs.
I got home from our
amp up a bit
I got
on
home
Twitter.
from our sand volleyball game, and I just started going off on Twitter for some reason.
That was you, Will. All right, well now I know.
Now you know. Usually it's not me, but last night I had to give it to you.
Yeah, I feel that.
How you been though? How's the buzz in the city? It's been fun to watch from just on TV, but I can't imagine it in person right now at the Garden.
Are we live right now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, this is okay.
Oh yeah.
It's been awesome. Yeah, I'm a big Knicks fan too. So like, when the Knicks were kind of in it, it was just every other night, like it was something crazy going on, you know. And New York City, like it's one of those places where I'm sure it's everywhere, but like, you know, in the winter you don't really see as many people out and about, and then once the sun comes out in the spring and summer, it's like everyone's outside, but also everyone's wearing Knicks and Rangers stuff. You know, like it's awesome, and it's just like kind of contagious, right? Like even my friends who don't really watch hockey during the year, like, you know, they're texting me like, let's go to a bar for this game and watch. Like everyone's kind of like locked in, and it's really cool to see in a city like New York because, you know, at All-Star in Toronto, like, you know, we were playing like shinny and guys were like, come to this rink and like, let's just play stick and puck, and like people just show up and play hockey. That doesn't happen in New York, you know, like no one talks hockey on the regular, no one plays hockey on the regular, and when the Rangers are doing well, it's like kind of takes over, and it's cool.
Yeah, that I saw. I think it was last round. You guys were at a bar and it just looked packed in there.
Yeah.
That would have been a lot
we're
of fun.
doing watch parties for like every game 6 at American Whiskey, which is like 2 blocks from the Garden. We know the owner pretty well, so he kind of like lets us just bring our crew there. And I mean, for that game 6, it was like literally the Kreider natural hat trick. It was like couldn't pick a better game to be at a bar for, right? Like in 10 minutes, like it was just nuts. So yeah, it's awesome.
So Johnny, what do you think of Rangers game 1 there?
Yeah,
what are your thoughts?
Was that Yelly?
No, that was Cuddy.
Cuddy? I mean, listen, you know, obviously it wasn't the Rangers' best performance, but there's part of me that thinks, like, they had the better quality chances, I want to say. Like, you know, Trocheck gets a 2-on-1 in the first period, and, you know, domes Bobrovsky right in the forehead. If he buries that one, like, maybe it's a different game. Schneider hits the post on a breakaway. Cooley gets a breakaway, doesn't score. Wenberg has, like, a wide-open net. Like, they had some looks. They just didn't have any sustained offensive zone pressure. And Florida does such a good job defensively, and they're so tight on their checks, and they always have guys back. So there were some breakdowns by the Panthers that, like, are getting a little bit overlooked just because the Rangers never really had that, like, dominance. But, you know, obviously there's going to be some adjustments made on both sides. And, you know, as you guys know, these things are always game to game, right? Like, Carolina, right? Like, they go down 3-0, but in the matter of one shift, that series changes, and all of a sudden you kind of think you're going back for a game 7. So we'll see what happens in game 2. I'm not too concerned. Just a little bit uncharacteristic of Igor Shesterkin, the goals he gave up, I'd say that.
Yeah, and obviously that Lafreniere. Is it Lafreniere? Lafreniere.
Lafreniere.
We always argue about that. Lafreniere. Obviously, that own goal was just a brutal bounce. It's really can't really do anything about that. But my question to you, Johnny, what was the atmosphere in the Garden last night? It was hard to tell on TV. It seemed a little bit quieter than normal. I mean, I'm sure when you go down, I mean, every playoff team, every playoff fan is a fair weather fan.
I saw a lot of they were showing a lot of celebs on TV.
Was or was not?
There was a lot of celebs.
Yeah, there always are, Frizz. You gotta make your way to a Ranger playoff game if you want to meet your wife, buddy. But no, the buzz in the Garden, like, listen, New York fans aren't like, I don't want to say they're not a fan base that, like, is gonna get their team going when things aren't going well. Like, there were people booing last night too, you know. And I was actually, you know, I know there have been, I think RA ranted about it, right? Like, about the Ranger fans booing last round, but, like, hey, if the guys aren't playing up to par, like, I'm a guy that's all for booing. Like, you pay for the tickets. Like, if you're not impressed with what you're seeing, like, you have every right to boo. But last night, I didn't think it was like an effort issue. It was more of an execution issue. But the fans in the building, like, there wasn't much to really cheer about. Like, your team's getting shut out on home ice. Like, you know, the building was rocking early on, but Florida did a really good job of taking the crowd out of the game. And in a place like New York, you know, you're not going to get the rah-rah stuff when you're not showing it on the ice. So it's interesting, right? Like, I was really impressed with Vancouver. Like, they're down 3-0 in Game 7, and they're chanting, "Let's go, Pete."
Oh, yeah, that was something I noticed. Like, the fans never, in that game, the fans never stopped hollering and trying to do something. And it did help. It got them going. They almost did it. They almost came back. So, yeah, that's interesting that New York doesn't quite do that. But, hey, maybe they will after they hear this episode.
I don't know. I mean, we'll see. But Madison Square Garden, you know, it's the world's most famous arena, but it's also a tough place to be a home team, you know.
For sure. What was I going to say? Hey, Johnny, did you watch the Open Heart documentary, Henrik Lundqvist? Have you seen it yet?
So I started it. I haven't finished it. And full transparency, I actually turned it on. So I have a couple of roommates that I live with, and I turned it on last night or 2 nights ago, I guess, when the Celtics took like a pretty big lead on the Pacers. I was like, all right, this game's done. I'm putting this on. I want to watch it. And, like, my roommate comes storming back into the living room. He's a big Celtics fan. He goes, dude, the Pacers fucking came back. I don't know if I can curse. The Pacers came back, put the game on. So we get to watch the overtime, and then I just never turned it back on. But I'll probably get back to the documentary today. Yeah. So I only watched the first, 15 minutes.
Yeah, no, the reason I asked, though, is just because, obviously, you're a lifetime Ranger fan.
Yeah.
And I wanted to kind of have you compare the effect that King Henrik has versus Igor has now. And it seems like I know we talk about the Ranger fans a lot, but it seems like everyone has been so behind those two guys in my recent memory that it's almost like you know you made it if you become goalie number 1 for the New York Rangers.
Yeah, but it's still different, and a lot of that just has to do with off the ice. Like, Henrik really was immersed in New York City. Not that Igor isn't, but, like, you know, Lundqvist was, like, doing, like, photo shoots in a band, like, mixed in with the celebrities. Like, he was just and I think the documentary kind of even says this, like, he really was just, like, a total rock star, right? And, like, Igor, while he's had a lot of success on the ice, like, you don't really hear about his personal life much off of it. Where Henrik, you kind of, everyone was so ingrained with what he was doing. And I haven't seen that yet from Shesterkin, so, like, I don't know if the city is, like, so in love with his personality like they were with Henrik. And I don't want to take, like, any credit away, but I actually had, who was it? It might have been, was it Dubinsky? I had somebody on our Ranger show, and or maybe it was like Mark Stahl or something, but the story was like the Rangers were like riding in an Uber, fully dressed to like their outdoor practice before the Winter Classic. And I think it might have been Dubinsky. Dubinsky's in the back seat of the Uber. Mark Stahl and Hank are like in the car with him. And Mark Stahl, like, just to fuck with Lundqvist, rolls down his window like in Times Square and goes, "Oh my God, is that Henrik Lundqvist?" And like everyone just surrounded the car. Like, it was nuts from the story that he told. And I think, like, yeah, if you're a goalie for the Rangers and the Ranger fans have been spoiled with goalies too, because it went from Richter to Lundqvist to Shesterkin, you are definitely a god. Like, but Henrik is on his own level, and I think the difference with the actual play is that the teams in front of Henrik weren't as talented as the team in front of Igor, so it felt like Henrik was getting them there, you know, kind of not like by himself, but like, you know, on his shoulders. And you know, it's a little different, but it's been great. I mean, both guys are awesome.
Have you talked to him? Like, is his English okay?
Igor?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, his English is you know, it's not great. It's not terrible, but he's definitely very, like, you know, when you win, he's a little happier. When he loses, he does not want to talk. Like, so I don't really talk to him so much. I've talked to him once or twice, but, like, you can just kind of tell the guys who are more open to it than the guys who just kind of have to do it. So he's not a guy that I usually lean on, but his English is okay.
Yeah, I got two for you here. One, obviously you're super busy with the playoffs and media and all that stuff. You just take us through like one of your Ranger home games when you get to the rink, what you're doing, and then after, how long you have to be there for the press conferences and stuff?
Yeah, so yesterday's a perfect example. So Monday through Thursday, I wake up at like 7:15, do my Morning Cup of Hockey show on Daily Faceoff YouTube channel. So, we kind of start our production meeting at like 8:15, and then we go live at 9 a.m. So do the show from like, 9 to, actually yesterday we cut it off early, like at 9:50, because I had to get to the Garden, and it's like a 30-minute subway for me door to door. So, 9:50, hop off, hit the bathroom quick before I head out.
Mm-hmm.
Then, rush to the subway, get to the Garden around like 10:20, and, Peter Laviolette had his press conference at 10:30. So it's just get to the press conference room and find a seat quick. Then you talk to the coaches, then two players come out, then you go out to the ice, and the Rangers had an optional skate, so you want to see who's out there, right? Because who's skating with the scratches kind of gives you a hint at who's in the lineup, who's not. So you want to make sure you see who's on the ice, and then go in the locker room when they have their availability. So this is all happening like very quickly. So I went in the locker room yesterday after the skate, talked to like Zach Jones, Braden Schneider, Jonathan Quick was in there. I didn't talk to him, but there are certain players that are made available by the media. Like, it's kind of weird. Like, you can be in the room, but you can't talk to certain guys. Like the PR always says, like, this guy can talk, and the guys who aren't in the lineup usually don't speak. So it's kind of weird how that works. Like, and I know people on the outside don't really necessarily get that, right? Because you just assume everyone's available. So then after that, the Panthers come on the ice at 11:30. And you make sure you see who's on the ice for them. You check to see any lineup changes and whatnot. Then after their skate's done, you walk into their locker room. And the road locker room's different for whatever reason. Like, everyone's kind of available because they were all out there, I guess. So anyone who skates is made available. So the Panthers' whole team skated. And honestly, like, I love the Panthers. Like, they are, and maybe this is a dragged out answer, but I'm trying to give you like every little thing. But like, Nick Cousins probably gets a bad rap in the media. But, like, he is the coolest dude off the ice. Like, he really is. Like, I walked in the locker room yesterday, and I've interviewed him now twice. And he looked and saw me and goes, "Johnny, what's good, bro?" And I was like, "What, dude?" Like, I talked to the Rangers all year, and, like, some of them don't even know my name. I talked to him twice, Like, I thought that was awesome. And I talked to him. I talked to Montour. They gave me great answers. And then you go back out to the press conference room, and they make two players available. So it was Oliver Ekman-Larsson and Gustav Forsling at the podium, and then Paul Maurice after that. So there's always two players at the podium on game days at morning skate, and then the coaches. But after the games, it is the losing coach, then I believe two players from the winning team, and then the winning coach. So it's always like the same kind of setup in the playoffs for the post-game press conferences.
And what time are you getting out of
I was
there?
in the Garden from 10:30 to like 1:30. Then I came home, did a couple shows, actually went to a different radio studio to do a radio hit at like 4:30, then went to the Garden at like 5:30, puck drop at 8, and I left the Garden at around 11:30. So it was a pretty long fucking day.
So Johnny, when you go in to do the media stuff, like in the locker room and like that, and you don't know who you're going to be talking to, how do you prepare for like questions you're going to ask?
Well, you kind of have, it's a good question, Cuddy. You kind of have like the theme of your story. So no matter who is made available, especially after a loss, because typically after a loss, it's like you're talking to a guy who obviously didn't have like a huge impact on the game because they lost, right? So you can kind of be more generic with your question after a loss. It's more of a team thing. After a win, like usually, like if let's say someone scores a winning goal, like they're always available, so you can cater it to that individual. So after a loss, it's a little bit easier to be more generic. Like my theme of my story this morning was like, the Rangers had a hard time generating anything offensively for a long amount of time. What did the Panthers do to limit you guys? That was kind of like my theme was, what did the Panthers do that made it so difficult? So you could ask anyone that question, right? Yeah. But after a win, it's like, what made your line so successful? Or, what was the turning point for you? Like had Will Cooley scored in the breakaway last night to like tie the game, or Wenberg on that chance, you kind of talk to Wenberg and be like, obviously your team needed a boost. What was it like for you to get your first goal of the playoffs and actually put this game at tied 1-1? So stuff like that, just like quick off the dome. But it's always different just depending on the vibe. So, but great question, because, it is tough and you kind of have to think on your toes.
What's it like talking to the coaches in playoffs versus regular season? Like, is there a way that they carry themselves or even act that's any different? I feel like maybe are they more positive?
Is that Lawson?
Yeah.
What's up, beauty? I think in the playoffs they're more thought out in their responses. Like in the regular season, you're kind of thinking of, obviously it's game to game, but you're also thinking of like where you have to go next and, what time you're skating tomorrow. Like there's not as much of a routine in the playoffs. Like, exactly kind of what you're doing every day. So they're more willing to, I feel like, give more thought out, and you're so in it. Like one play, one thing, it's so magnified, I guess would be the word. But again, like, you guys know, like after a loss, no coach really wants to speak. After a win, they're happy to give some more time. But it all kind of depends, like, on who the coach is. Like, Paul Maurice will talk for 2 minutes in his responses. Laviolette, I'll give you 30 to 45, but every coach is kind of different in their style with the media. But I'd say the difference in the playoffs is just, like, they're more well thought out in their responses just because everything is that much bigger and that much more important.
Yeah, that kind of falls into my question. Obviously, he's like a legendary press conference guy. Do you go into talking to Paul Maurice a little bit differently with your questions?
I've had like 3 interactions with him now, and they've all been super fun. He actually hit me with that's a really good question yesterday. And honestly,
there you go.
I was fired up, honestly, I'm not gonna lie. But like, the first time I asked him a question, I told him, I was like, I was talking to a guy in the locker room, and he was like, which one? And I was like, I'm not going to tell you. They said training camp is really hard. And he was like, oh, okay, he's right. But you feel like with a guy like him, you don't want to put too much pressure on yourself to ask the question because he's going to take it and spin it into something great. So like, you don't have to think so much about what you ask him because he's going to give you something good. And I think that makes the question actually easier to ask because he has personality that can turn it, like, even if it's a shit question, he can turn it into a good one. Mm-hmm. And that's something about press conferences too, right? Like, there are so many times where I think, oh, this is such a well thought out question, but the guy doesn't give me the good answer that I'm looking for, and it turns into like a mediocre question. But I've asked some shitty questions that get a good response, and all of a sudden someone's like, great question. I'm like, oh, I thought that was like ass, honestly. So it's pretty crazy how it works. But with Paul Maurice specifically, to your question, he's going to take it his way no matter what. So it's pretty, I think it takes the pressure off a little bit.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's always fun seeing if he has a highlighted answer from one of the questions. So good job. Keep it rolling.
Yeah, thanks, boys.
Yeah, seriously, Johnny. It's fun watching you. Live out your dream, I guess, and work for your favorite team, get to talk to these players and stuff. And I couldn't help but notice it looks like your playoff beard is pretty thick right now.
I got the little mullet going, too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm really locked in here, boys.
Well, Laz, keep killing it. We appreciate it. And maybe if we get to the next round, we'll have to do this again.
I was going to say, you guys not ripping Florida?
This weekend?
Yeah.
Oh, we will be at the Indy 500 this weekend.
Racing.
We're going racing.
That's a blast.
Yeah. Should be good.
Well, I missed you guys at the Elbow Room. I know I'm sad now that I won't be with Frizz till 3 a.m.
Oh, now you're making me sad.
hitting up the ATM for more cash.
Well, we'll make sure to keep chirping you on Twitter.
Yeah. I don't know who it is, so I guess I'll make it a collective chirp back, or I can make it individual, knowing who's running Twitter. But thank you guys. Also, missed you guys. I haven't seen you in quite a bit, so we're due for another rip here soon, huh?
Yes.
Sounds good, Johnny.
Definitely.
Sounds good.
Talk to you soon, brother.
All right, boys.
Thank
Later.
you.
See ya.
Thank you.
Mr. Laz. Good guy. Good
New York insider that he does a great job of capturing everything that's going on in that city because he's at, like he said, he's at the he's at the morning skates. He's taking photos, watching the Rangers. Like, he's the go-to guy that I always look at on Twitter-wise when I'm, like, trying to keep up with what's happening. So it's fun that the Rangers are doing well, and then he's kind of just carrying the documentation side of it for him. And
Well, let's get out of the East and let's head west. And let's head over to Dallas. Dallas, Texas. Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals is tonight. Actually, it was last night because the show comes out after. So we are going to make our Game 1 predictions. What do you got, Frizz?
This one's tough because
In
obviously Edmonton played to 7, and I don't know, you could tell they were kind of running out of gas at the end because Vancouver is making a comeback. But I don't know. I think that extra day break that the NHL gave them, I think they'll be ready to be back, and it's going to be a hard-fought game. So my prediction, I think they're going to catch Dallas with some speed, but this is so hard because
it is so hard.
Because they've dealt with McKinnon and McCarr's speed. So, like, okay, I'm going with Edmonton. They're going to get a sneaky one, 4-3.
4-3 Game 1 on the road, hey?
very detailed guess.
Yeah,
Seriously.
wow.
Wow. Yeah, I
This is
think
a hard betting game.
Yeah.
it is, and I think that both teams they're quite different from what I've noticed, at least. Like you said, the speed factor is huge for Edmonton, but I definitely think Dallas is deeper when it comes to either the defensive side of things, but I think their top 4 lines are a little bit deeper than Edmonton's, but you never know in playoffs because someone could heat up at any given moment. The Oilers have 3 guys with 20 points.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so
And the
rare.
D-men have been helping out.
Yeah. Draisaitl, McDavid, and Bouchard.
Do you guys know what was the record between the two teams throughout the year?
I don't know, but
Except-
after the
I don't know,
Winnipeg
yeah.
series, I
We
don't believe in
we
that.
only know
that doesn't.
We only know half stuff here.
Yeah.
Well, what I was gonna say was that I think Dallas is gonna win Game 1, and what always interests me when two teams they match up in the playoffs is kind of how they deal with each other. So what they're gonna do with McDavid. Are they going to like really try to get under his skin right away? Who's going to be the 2 players that are carried on having this grudge match throughout the series, kind of like Kane and I'm going to mess up his name with the V.
On Edmonton?
No, Zadorov.
Oh.
Kane and Zadorov had that whole thing going on throughout the series. So I don't know who that will be with Dallas. I know Kane's probably going to be on Edmonton's side to try to get under someone and start the beef with Dallas. But, like, who's Dallas is, like, I think Ben is probably someone that's he's going to be taunting big time.
He's going to be,
I wouldn't like to play Ben in the playoffs. I can tell you that.
No.
Heck no.
He'll be in the mix. Like that video circulating of when he
Yeah.
was bullying Hyman
Yeah.
during the season. Like
That
that
was
is so
funny.
funny when he slashed his stick out of his hands and then just held him down by the collar. But I think the big advantage for the Dallas Stars is Mr. Jake Ottinger in that.
Yeah. Dude, I was going to say that their defensive play has been really good throughout the whole playoffs, Dallas. It's like they don't do anything too flashy or too fancy. They just like stick to the structure. The D just move the puck up the ice really quick. Like it's not really just like looking for like that breakaway pass or whatever. It's like quick, smart plays, keeping it simple. I don't know. Edmonton's going to have to force them to make some mistakes.
What do you think Edmonton does with goaltending?
I have no idea. I've never been good at picking goalies. I just know when one's really good. But when you have 2 that are like, I don't know.
Can be a blessing and a curse.
Yeah. Who played last game? Picard?
I think Skinner did.
Skinner played Game 7?
Yeah.
Picard
Yeah.
played the one before.
Dallas might get a little extra offensive boost with Rope Hintz might be coming back.
Europe.
Got 30 goals this year, so
Holy.
they've been missing him.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see how strong the 2-headed monster can go. I hope they go far and absolutely dominate the Stars. But
2-headed monster that's McDavid and Draisaitl.
mhm.
It's the first I've heard of that.
like I've seen it a little bit on Twitter. I didn't come up with that, but someone said the two-headed monster, like they can only play so much before they
Yeah,
just,
that's true.
Before they just
Yeah.
completely worn down.
They're in third round now, so
Yeah,
They
they
got
just got
enough
off
gas
of
in
game
the tank.
7. So we'll see. I think McDavid. I mean, I know he's someone that could do it.
That guy
We'll
just wants
see.
to win, though.
yeah.
So badly.
I don't think he will get tired.
No, he will will himself to do whatever it takes.
Mhm.
Like that's where I trust that guy to be like, I know this guy wants to win so badly that he might be tired, he might be getting cross-checked in the head, but
This is a true feat. It could be a true feat and solidify himself as one of the greats. He already is, but like truly, truly one of the greats if he brought this Oilers team to the finals.
Yeah.
Because they are not – they're good, but they're not like –
yeah.
That too. It's
they're
like
not
this might
80s
be their
Wayne
chance.
Gretzky Oilers 3 in a row good.
For example, like kind of going back to what Lawson said in season series, Vancouver wiped them,
Right.
Yeah.
swept them. So like they're just good enough to just make it in the playoffs, and then that's when you kind of see like when teams who can push through. Like obviously, the classic example, LA Kings type thing. Like they were okay, but they just kind of were a team more than anything. So we'll see if that Edmonton can do it. But I also think Dallas is just a well-rounded team.
Yep.
And I honestly think Florida and Dallas final would be a bloodbath.
Holy,
Yeah,
yeah.
Like
That'd be
Bannon,
fun.
Kachuk, and like all the other guys just going
be
at each
crazy.
other would be nuts.
Couple of good
Yeah.
goal. Those are probably – dude, all the goalies except Edmonton's are
Mm-hmm.
top dogs
Oh,
in
yeah.
the league.
It'll be a
Ottinger,
good
Bob,
game.
and Shesterkin left.
I feel like
Which team do you think had the harder road to get there through the playoffs? Edmonton or Dallas?
Dallas.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Dallas. Edmonton played LA and Vancouver, both kind of. Well, Vancouver is on the softer side, but.
Who Dallas beat first round?
Dallas beat
Preds?
No.
No, Vancouver. Dallas beat.
I don't know. Vegas.
Vegas, yeah.
In
It
game
was
7.
Vegas, yeah.
In game
Yeah,
7,
they had
though.
to play the Stanley Cup champs and then the Colorado Avalanche. They,
Yeah,
Oh,
that
yeah.
reminds me.
Right.
Yeah,
That's a
probably
big factor.
Vegas.
Yeah.
Vegas did give them a run for their money.
yeah, 7.
Yeah.
But that's might solidify that Dallas is the better overall team.
Yeah.
that would feel good to go past those two teams and then now just be like, whew, finally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Finally.
Now I got
Yeah.
Now I just got to play McDavid.
Yeah.
Yeah, if
The
they
oil.
if they made it through the West, that would be quite a tough road.
Yeah, but I feel like if you're a forward on Dallas, at least you could be a little bit more looking forward to playing against an Edmonton decor versus a Colorado
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
decor of like. There's no one on Edmonton. Got Darnell Nurse that he's a big guy, but I'm not a fan of him.
Why
But
not?
someone on Edmonton that truly has surprised me, and I think I had a bad perception on him, and now he's flipped in my head. But Evan Bouchard, with how he's been like pulling his weight,
Mhm.
Do you just think he was bad?
I've always
Just
thought he
kinda
was bad.
lame.
Yeah, like during the season, past couple years, I just thought he was just he was I thought he was that guy that was supposed to be good, but never really did anything. But now in the playoffs, I'm
What
like,
is-
okay, this guy's
Didn't he have a big goal in Game 7?
huge.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he's
How old is he?
a 98. I think he's a year
Oh
younger
my
than us.
gosh.
See, I like if someone said Evan Bouchard to me at the beginning of this season, I'd been like, this guy's like a 30-year-old.
Yeah, you
kinda
just think
fifth
30.
defenseman.
Yeah,
That's what I would think.
that's what
Yeah.
I thought. I agree
And
with
then all of
that.
a sudden he's just he's
Who's that
doing
kid on
something.
Dallas that's
He's got a
been
heck
lighting
of
it
a
up?
slap shot though.
You know who I'm talking
Johnston?
about? Yeah.
Of course I know who you talk about. Wyatt Johnston, yeah, he's ripping it up. Stankoven still there. I'm gonna
Stanky.
look at the stats here, but
Yeah, regardless, it's going to be a fun game. Fun last
You got to be watching
few
tonight.
games. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Tuning in for sure.
I always know when Cuddy's tuning in because I get booted off the YouTube TV.
Oh, you're still on that? I never
And
logged
then
out.
and then
That's
I,
who I've been
have
fighting
to-
it for. I thought I've been fighting it with my
I
dad.
always let him have it though,
That's
because then I just
hilarious.
go to something else. But
That's
the
funny.
YouTube TV, last night I had a nice setup. I had the Wolves on the left and the Rangers.
Oh, yeah, that
Panthers
dual
game on the
screen's
right.
handy,
So
hey?
it was perfect.
Yeah.
That's funny. I was fighting with, speaking of fighting over subscriptions, I was fighting with my sister on Spotify.
Oh, that's
I
hilarious.
kept
Oh,
playing my
hate that. I
songs,
used to
and
do that
then
with my brother.
and then she'd play the songs for her kids.
Oh,
And I didn't understand why my phone would switch to that song. I was like, "What's going on here?"
Mhm.
And it took me a while to.
So it doesn't kick you off Spotify. It just
No, it
keeps
just
you on
switches the song.
That's hilarious.
So I'll be listening to a song, and then I'll hear, like the kids songs
Yeah.
all of a sudden.
It's
And I
like
was
you're watching TV and someone's flipping the channels for
Yeah,
you.
pretty much. I thought it was glitching. Then I texted her. I'm like, "Are you battling with me right now?" Sure enough.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, I definitely had to do that with my brother, but yeah, Dave for the most part, we've got the subscriptions down for all the channels and stuff, but I had to get Fubo a few weeks ago. It's kind of been handy for the playoffs.
Fubo.
What's up?
Fubo, it's just like it's apparently a big network,
Hmm.
and they have a stuff, but yeah, I don't know if we're switching over to this yet or not, but I definitely want to go out and do another watch party for the Wolves because that was lit. And last night, like the whole city was I watched the full game. You guys were at volleyball for a bit, but
I watched the fourth quarter.
it was crazy the amount of people out. Everyone's watching. I saw places like did they have a place like Cove and Maynard's and stuff? They brought out like massive portable like TV screens like on a trailer.
Yeah, we were talking about that because they didn't have any TVs at Fletcher's
Oh
last
yeah,
night.
that's lame as
Yeah,
hell.
Yeah, wait,
we
I
were
di-
talking about like them just bringing a projector or something out and people hang out, especially on a nice night like that. But
I didn't know that you did this. What did you do exactly
No,
for this watch
No,
party?
I didn't go. This is
Oh.
what I've seen. I said I want to go and do something for a watch party. What one watch party I went to was at Cowboy Jack's. That was a lot of fun. But no, like all these outdoor bars and rooftops now, because everyone wants to sit outside. They're all getting these massive like portable TVs, and you can watch the game and stuff. And like they have specials on. It's just a fun buzz in the city that this place that Will's grown up and hasn't had in a long time. So
long time.
So it's refreshing to be a part of it at our own home rather than going somewhere and being a part of
It's
it.
funny because I've been kind of watching the news every morning a little bit. Yeah, all the restaurants are like coming up with new menu items and everything because they just know like more people are coming into Minneapolis and they're trying to make it all nice and
Yeah, like the
people
Shack.
try to
thing.
get people to
Seen
come
that
visit
everywhere. The bring your ass.
Yeah.
I've seen that everywhere. There's shirts, hoodies. Apparently Minnesota changed like their state. The Minnesota State Twitter changed like their emblem. Like, you know, like a state logo.
Yeah.
They changed it and it said "Bring your ass" on it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
It's like a
'Cause-
tourism thing.
yeah, because Mr. Charles Barkley's back.
Yeah.
It's looking good.
Yeah, Dave said that some of his coworkers saw him wandering around yesterday during the day.
Really?
Yeah, he said just a big, tall guy walking around with a Target bag.
Yeah, he'd stick out in a crowd.
Yep. Big Chuck, Charlie Barkley. Do you think they travel from here to Indianapolis for the West and the East?
Oh, that's a good question. I
It's
don't
not that far.
know. I don't know. I guess we'll see.
Maybe
Watch
on
the
Friday.
game.
Maybe. Wait. No, that won't work. Yeah, we might see Chucky in Minneapolis and Indianapolis. What else we
Yeah.
got? Any other sports?
P-Dub.
PWHL.
Yes, that series is 1-1 in the finals. Minnesota and Boston are tied. Game 3 is here in Minnesota.
Is it best of 5
Friday
or
night,
7?
tonight. I think it's best of 5.
This is the finals, correct?
It's the finals.
Good for Minnesota.
Yeah, from almost not being in the playoffs to making the finals.
Yeah.
Those are our squads, Minnie and Boston. Those are kind
Yeah,
of-
they are both
kind
of
of
them.
our teams.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm happy for whoever wins it, but definitely think it'd be cool. Obviously, Minnesota to come back and win it.
The
But
state of hockey.
I mean, yeah, their Toronto series. I'm not sure. Did you guys talk about this last time? Just about how they Sounds like a no.
I don't
We
think we
talked
talked
about the series and how they came back.
Yeah.
We went to the game and stuff.
Okay, yeah, because that's what I was gonna say. I was impressed how they came back on Toronto. Now moving on, and I always thought that PWHL Minnesota was the top team. Like they were gonna be one of the better teams. Didn't get seeded that way, but now through playoffs, they're really carrying their weight through beating Toronto and now getting a win against Boston too.
Well, yeah, we mentioned that both the lower seeds won.
Yeah, it's so interesting how they do that. So, like, the
Classic
number
Canada
1
choking.
and number 2 seeds pick who they play, or is it just number
I
1?
think just one.
So, Toronto is number 1.
Because if number 1 picked, then number 2 wouldn't be able to truly
True,
pick.
yeah. Just be. But, yeah, Toronto picked to play Minnesota, and guess what? Minnesota won, and now they're off to the finals. And
Yeah, Canada
that's
can't
crazy.
even win the...
It's kind of embarrassing.
Whatever, the P-Dub Cup.
Canada.
Isabel Cup, I think it's called.
They're truly snake bitten in the hockey sport.
Yeah.
It was Boston beat Montreal, and Minnesota beat Toronto. Oof.
Well, yeah, like Vancouver, they had 2 Canadians dressed for their
Yeah, isn't
Game
that
7.
odd?
2. So that Don Cherry was on the camera, he would have lost it. He would have
2.
absolutely lost it at Hockey Night in Canada.
The Oilers had like 18.
Mm-hmm.
Very odd.
Vancouver's always been Euro heavy, though. It's just
Yeah.
it's part of their thing. I don't know.
They're close to the
Russia?
edge,
Close
The
to
edge,
Russia.
Yeah.
the edge of the
Just a boat ride.
West. So just makes sense.
Just a quick boat ride to Sweden.
Oh, gosh.
And yeah, well, I don't got anything else. You
Yeah.
guys?
I'm
Gotta
sported
get-
out.
Gotta get ready for the race.
We've had a heck of a week.
Yeah.
Let's give Frizz some props, too. He scored 6 goals in beer league the other night. 6.
That was-
Had a hot stick. This is
6
fun.
goals. Wow.
Had some good line mates, some big line mates. They'd do the work, and I'd just get up there and help
They're
celebrate
kind of
and
like
push it in.
kind of like snow plows. They
Yeah.
just push us
Yeah,
all to
it
the
was
side,
just-
and then Frizz got a breakaway.
Yeah.
2 guys leading the charge, dump it back to the third guy high, Frizz usually, and
We're on our
bingo.
backs in the corners.
Yeah.
Getting
I'm
bullied.
huffing for oxygen
Cuddy
in
had
the
his
ozone.
first game debut.
Yeah.
How did that go for you?
Not the greatest. 0 goals. Couple assists.
A couple assists though.
Couple
No,
shots.
What was your plus?
Assists aren't tracked
Yeah.
in this league because there's always an assist.
I had to
Just-
count them because I didn't have anything else to count. So
It's just goals and plus minus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was your plus minus?
Probably even. I mean, we shut down Yelly's line pretty good.
Everyone was fairly even because the first game was tied, 10-10, and then it was 10-8.
Yeah,
We
Yeah,
were
right
probably
now.
a dash.
probably. I mean, we went out there and we went -3 real quick.
Right.
That one shift.
Yeah, because Dave had like the craziest tip of his life.
Yeah, it was like a
crossbar.
Crosby tip.
It was insane. He like looked like he was just did a magic trick.
What felt the worst for you out there in your first game?
Just my lungs. My hands. I thought my hands were gonna be way worse too, but I mean they weren't the best. I will say. But yeah, my lungs. I was sure freaking tired. Holy.
What about your legs though? Heavy legs?
Yeah, heavy legs. That was a factor too. Dude, skating. There's just no exercise you can do in the gym or like running outside. Like nothing compares to skating. And on a smaller ice like that, it's a lot of stop and starts.
Well,
quick
and
turns.
it was the day of the big storms here, so it was humid in that rink.
Oh,
the ice
yeah.
was a little
Oh,
wet
shoot.
and soft, and yeah, it definitely took a little extra effort to get going.
Yeah, I think like next week, I felt pretty good this week with lungs. Like the first time was like bad at a lot of times, but I think next week could be pretty close to getting back to normal.
Great.
Yeah, I'm not gonna have
12.
a pounder. I'm not gonna have a pounder before the game next week.
Yeah,
That didn't
hurts
help
too.
either.
That hurts too. That's a lot of beer. It just swells up in your
Yeah.
first shift.
What, you felt like that was gonna like numb your body
Well,
kind of
I
before
thought-
you went out for the first
I
game?
thought the whole league was
Yeah,
doing it.
I thought
Oh.
everyone, because we were talking about like we'll bring a beer for like everyone was just gonna bring one beer, so I brought my beer
Yeah,
and I
for
cracked
after.
it. And
Yeah,
then
but
I
the
just,
plan is like you have
The-
one while
the
you're taking
post-game
your gear
beer.
off after.
Yeah,
For
not a
puck
good
drop.
idea.
Not your
I-
average beer league.
No, everyone was ready to
We
play.
talk about our league a lot. We love this league.
Yeah,
it is freaking fun though.
It's
Kinda
one of the most
taking over
fun
our
things to
weeks.
talk about.
Yeah. We're competitive again.
Yeah, you finish one game and you're saying, Will, how you're already excited for
Yeah.
that
Dude,
next
I wanted
game.
to
fun.
I wanted to play the next day, like right away. I just wanted to get back into
We had a
it.
3
Going to the rink.
3 night a week schedule.
Yeah,
Yeah,
every other day.
we got challenged by the local fire department
True.
too.
St. Louis Park Fire Department, right? Was that who it was?
Yeah, we should play them just
that
for
is
fun.
Cool.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, we could
think we
set
would-
a cool little event up like
We'd
that.
dominate them. We'd just dominate.
We would mop them.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fire department.
I don't know. They probably all played hockey at some point in their life.
It's different though. 3-on-3 is like you just like skill and speed.
We'll take him on a full barn.
Yeah,
we'll take anybody on.
5-on-5. I feel like
we
we've
got a
been
heck of a
controlled.
12 roster and a couple guys in reserve.
Yeah, we're the best.
We are the
best
best.
ever.
We got 2 goalies, 12 skaters. Like, that's a roster.
Oh yeah.
We got D forwards. We got it all.
You should have seen me practicing my hands. I was stick handling a golf ball
Oh, nice.
while I was at
Huh.
home, just so I could kind of keep up with the skill level as you guys were getting another game under your belt, and I couldn't play, so I was stick handling a golf ball, and I was doing the wrist rollers with the weight.
Oh, those
there we go.
classics.
Just getting my forearms jacked.
I think I just need to hit some wall sits.
Yeah, you need to do that workout that I
Yeah, we gotta
shared.
The squat jumpers,
Yeah,
that was like 100 squat jumps.
get
It's
the
too many,
Omaha
that's for
D1
sure.
Ah, look, too many.
workouts
That
going.
might be too many for me.
it hurt bad.
Yeah, I don't want that.
I'll start training. I'm gonna start training Team Black.
That was the joke that you guys were freaking in the boxing gym. How
Really?
physical you were.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. Heck of a not your average beer league week 2. Can't wait for next week. And I think that's all.
good.
I think it also helps that we're watching the playoffs, getting fired up, and then we're like, now it's
Yeah, we've
my
been
turn.
watching a
Now
lot
it's
of
my
hockey.
turn to go play hockey.
Yeah.
Makes you
Mhm.
feel a little better.
Take a move or two away from Kachuk and McDavid.
Yep.
Try it out yourself.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch a lot of hockey this weekend and try to be like Bouchard.
Pick a
Huge
player.
slappers.
Pick a player and try to beat him next week. It's your
All right.
homework. Team White.
Sounds good, Coach. Let's go watch some. Let's go watch some highlights, some goal scoring videos, Cuddy, for
Yeah.
sure. Get on that.
Pavel Datsyuk.
And yeah, have a great weekend, everybody. Be sure to watch some hockey. Happy Memorial Day, and we will see you on Tuesday.
Peace out.
Adios.